Howdy ho ho, my good people. How are you doing? This is Unnecessary Rambling. I'm Brandon Sylvia. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for stopping by to talk about some GTA 6, my Grand Theft Auto 6 wish list. We will be diving into that here today in the video. And I've been thinking about a lot of different things that I would like to see from other games that I'd like to see Rockstar attempt. A lot of things I'd like to see from Red Dead 2 brought over to GTA 6. And so I've compiled a pretty big list here that I'll go over. And then, I'm sure over the course of filming this, a few other things will hit my brain and we'll jot them down on this here Grand Theft Auto 6 wish list thing that I have pulled up here. But make sure to hit me in the comments with your wish list, things you would like to see in GTA 6, and go ahead, give the video a like and then subscribe and do all of that good stuff as well if you would like. And let me go ahead and lay this out before we dive into it. A lot of these are kind of like dream picks, things in a perfect world that I would like to see in Grand Theft Auto 6, not realistically expecting some of this stuff to be featured in the game. But one thing that I do think is a pretty reasonable ask is just tons of minigames. So I'm going to write down here minigames galore. I just want to see tons of damn minigames in Grand Theft Auto 6. I want to see some of the stuff from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas brought back. I want to, have pool back in the mix. I want to have basketball back in the mix, weightlifting. I mean, the weightlifting alone was, and we'll get into that a bit more, but I spent so much time weightlifting in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, just driving up to the gym, getting out, running on the treadmill, doing some damn bench press, doing some dumbbell curls, hitting the bag, going in and doing some boxing rounds. Like, mini games are such a crucial component to making an open world feel alive and having just different fun activities to do when you want to kind of separate from the main story a bit and just get lost, kill some time, listen to a podcast, whatever the case may be. I know there was the rumor that they were going to have the surfing minigame in Grand Theft Auto 6. I hope to God that is true. I think that would be so damn sick, especially, if it's going to be set in Miami, which a lot of the rumors right now seem to be that it will, be set in Miami. Surfing makes total sense for that game world. But pull a damn RGG. Just throw everything at the wall. Throw bowling in there. Throw golf and tennis and skateboarding. Have some arcade set up. I know that this is not necessarily, it kind of is related to minigames, but I would love to have jobs in Grand Theft Auto 6, like activities that you can go and do that function as minigames but can earn you some money. Let me go do a night shift and be a bouncer at a club. Let me go and train MMA and compete in some MMA fights and like go up the ranks that way. And I'm earning more and more money with each fight, similar to how they did in that was Lost Judgment. Yeah, the second Judgment game. But that was boxing, not MMA. Hell, if boxing works better, if that's simpler, harken back to Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Go in there, do your boxing rounds, learn different melee maneuvers, different melee combat moves that you can pull off in the game by going through and completing the boxing rounds in San Andreas. That would be fantastic to see brought back. Pull a damn bully and let me do some paper routes, or Suda 51 with No More Heroes, going off and cutting grass and stuff like that. Just get silly with it. Throw a bunch of mini games out there, even if they're super simplistic, not incredibly involved. Have a couple standout, super involved, super fun ones that have different levels to them, different layers to them. But I like just having a bunch of different icons on the map, a bunch of different stuff to go and do and kind of get lost with. All right, and this next one is huge for me, and that is decision making. And my dream for this has always been and will always be to see Rockstar attempt a BioWare style feature where you have full on, branching narrative paths, something like a Detroit Become Human, something like a BioWare game where, every decision you make can lead you down a different path and give you a different narrative outcome at the end of the game, or just even, different narrative paths for the moment to moment decisions that you're making, and those having more immediate results in the near future. Like, I just love decision making in games, and I think Grand Theft Auto 4 was the closest to ever really getting involved with this, where you had more kind of gameplay decisions that you could make. Let someone live, let someone die. I understand that those are hard. That's a hard thing to incorporate into a game that's already doing so much. Once again, this is much more in the lines of a dream pick. I don't see any world where Grand Theft Auto 6 is incorporating BioWare level, peak BioWare level decision making and branching paths with the narrative. I don't see that happening. This is definitely a dream pick. But even if they could go back to something like Grand Theft Auto 4, where you could pick who lived and who died, do you spare this person? The dude on the roof, do I spare him? Do I kill him? Do I throw him off the roof? Do I shoot him? Like, just having those little small options that make you feel like you have some agency in what is taking place in the story, even if it's not anything substantial. And I think you can kind of look at Hitman as a way to probably do that. I'm not saying easy. It's not what IO pulls off is not at all easy, but easier than something like these huge branching narratives that you get in a Disco Elysium or a Detroit Become Human or a BioWare, but like just small options, like a diet version of Hitman at times, where you can go in and take a guard's clothing and sneak through the building, but not missions designed around that, just giving you the option. Okay, I'm going to go in this with a bit more stealth. I'm not going in guns blazing here. Is that window up? There's a ladder right there. Maybe I can get to that window, come in from the side, hit the vault when I'm robbing this bank or whatever the hell, this building I'm going off and robbing. Maybe I can do this a bit more stealthily and avoid a gunfight, avoid attention, and then maybe there's some police system, some heat level that you have, like this ongoing heat level that you're trying to keep down. So it's giving you more of an incentive to try to look for alternate solutions to tackling these missions, opposed to having your face out there, having your mug out there on the television when people are like, oh, this man robbed a bank, and then your heat level goes up. It'd just be cool to have small decisions, in-game decisions that you could just kind of add a little bit of that immersive sim-ish nature to it, which I know Grand Theft Auto has always had tinges of that, but maybe leaning a bit more into that. And this one is super important to me as well. No last gen. Grand Theft Auto 6 cannot come out on PlayStation 4s and Xbox Ones. I will be incredibly bummed out, because when I look at the technical powerhouse studio that is Rockstar, and I think you can comfortably, it's not even debatable in my opinion. I think the most impressive PS4 game, Xbox One open world game is Red Dead Redemption 2 from any technical level, I would argue. And I want to see Rockstar pushing the 9th generation in the same way. When GTA 6 launches, I want to go, yep, that is the most impressive open world game on a technical level on the market today. And if they are having to compromise that game to get it running on PlayStation 4s and Xbox One consoles, then we're just going to kind of be left wondering what if, you know what I mean? Even with Horizon Forbidden West, which I think is the most impressive game on offer for, the 9th generation systems for the current next gen, whatever you call it, current gen, next gen, whatever you want to call it. I think Horizon Forbidden West is the most impressive game on offer, but I still, when I went and played Burning Shores, it's like, oh, that is what was possible with Forbidden West if it wasn't being held back by the PlayStation 4. And Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, same thing. When you play Phantom Liberty, like, oh shit, yeah, if this thing was totally focused on developing for current gen only, next gen only, then yeah, this could have been a whole hell of a lot more impressive. And you also think about Cyberpunk as well there. You should never play that game on a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It should have never been released there. And with Grand Theft Auto being a similar style of game, I know Rockstar isn't going to release a game in the state that CDPR released Cyberpunk in. There's just no doubt about that. I guess I should say a Rockstar developed game, because the Grove Street, the what do they call it? The GTA Definitive Trilogy, whatever the hell it was, with 3, Vice City, San Andreas. That was a disaster at launch. But Rockstar internally developed Rockstar Games. They're not going to launch a game in that state. But I do think that there's a realistic chance, there's a real possibility that GTA 6 comes out on PS4 and Xbox One, because does Rockstar just Take-Two want to miss out on that 100+ million player base for, the PlayStation 4? I think it's like at 120 million. I think it sold over 120 million units. And Grand Theft Auto is so ubiquitous to the point where a lot of people who would pick up a copy of Grand Theft Auto 6 probably wouldn't pick up a PlayStation 5. They're probably still playing on PS4. They're probably not playing games at all. That Grand Theft Auto is like the one game they play every few years. That's the level of ubiquity, the level of just mainstream appeal that is on offer with Grand Theft Auto, that very, very few outside of like Call of Duty, and even Call of Duty isn't on the level of a Grand Theft Auto game. I'm just really hopeful that the PS5 is sitting around like, 70 million units sold, and then the Series X is sitting somewhere around like 40 million units sold, something like that, by the time GTA 6 comes out. That way Rockstar or Take-Two can have a comfortable home to throw that, which, I mean, it really wouldn't matter at all by the time the game comes out, because it's, been in active development for years and years and years. And if they're prioritizing a launch on last gen systems, by the time, but even by now, there's nothing we can do about it. It's all the steps have been taken to ensure that it comes out on last gen systems, if it is indeed going to come out on last gen systems. I don't think they're going to deviate from that path now. So I just hope to God that they did not, they had no intentions of releasing this thing for PS4 and Xbox One. I don't really know how to word this one, so I'm just going to type in Criminal Empire here for my fourth slot for my GTA 6 wish list. I want something similar to Scarface on the PlayStation 2. If you guys played that, where you're playing as Tony Montana, and it's after the events of Scarface the movie, but instead of dying at the end, he lives, and he is having to like rebuild his criminal empire from scratch, and he's going off and having these full-on drug trades taking place, and he's building a real estate empire, and that kind of ties into the minigame thing as well, which I know Grand Theft Auto has always dabbled with real estate ownership, but like truly diving into that in a big way. Let me, I know the rumor is that you might be able to go across to like London or maybe Cuba. Let me smuggle drugs. Let me traffic drugs across the damn world, man. Let me fly across the world, bringing back shit, negotiating with different distributors, and let me really live the dream of building up this Tony Montana-esque empire in Vice City. Let me, kind of go in and negotiate with the police to, like we talked about earlier, to keep heat down a little bit, keep heat off me. Let me go in and talk to the different owners of these banks so that they can kind of turn a blind eye when I'm coming in with 50, 60K in cash. You don't have to report this. Here, let me break you off. I'm going to come in with 80K in cash. I'm going to break you off 10 grand. You take that 10 grand, go off and have a nice vacation with your family. And like, let me go in and try to legitimize my illegal businesses with legal businesses, and let me dive into legal business ventures where I go off and I buy a movie chain, a movie theater, or I buy a laundromat, or just these different things to make it appear that the income is coming from that it's not coming from the drug trade, that I have legitimate businesses that are operating and profitable, and I can kind of launder money a little bit between those businesses to make it less obvious if it does kind of become one of these things where they can look through the paperwork and look at your tax records and shit, and where it's like, well, your bank statement over here says that you have this amount of money. Where's this money coming from if you don't have, an actual legitimate business operation? We'll say, well, hey, I got these laundromats. doing me these figures. I got this movie theater doing me these figures. Real estate. I'm a real estate investor. It's doing me these numbers. So it kind of keeps the heat off you that way as well. And I think this is another area where decision making could be so crucial. You know, building up this empire, building up this criminal empire, and going in and, like we talked about, doing the different negotiations, trying to get the best prices, and, you know, maybe applying a little bit of pressure to some of these different distributors to give you a more fair cut. And then that can, you know, you can maybe apply too much pressure, and then shit goes haywire. You get into a gunfight with these dudes, and they have all their people shooting at you in this warehouse or whatever, and you got to try to take them all out, and then you go into their vault, steal their drugs or steal their money or whatever, and now you have this criminal organization, this gang, kind of gunning for you. Or even, like, you know, your own internal crew. Maybe, you know, as you're building up your crew and they're leveling up through the ranks, one of them turns on you. Or having like a, you know, in NBA 2K, they have like the chemistry meter where you got to play the, you know, if you go and draft a dude the first round, first pick, and he's only playing 8 minutes a game, he's like, what the hell? You know, I need more playtime. I'm the first round, first pick. I have these expectations. And if you have your henchmen and then your higher up ranking officers, they have different expectations, different payouts that they expect to get. And if you're not meeting those obligations, they can turn on you a little bit. Shit can get a little sketchy. So you got to go and call one of your goons to maybe organize and orchestrate a hit that takes place, and you kind of set everything up to whack this dude or whatever. Like there's just a lot of cool possibilities. I think that in general, criminal empires just kind of lend themselves so naturally to a role-playing game scenario. And I played a little bit of Empire of Sin, which was cool, but it would just be so sick to see a more RPG heavy Grand Theft Auto game that is totally focused on the business empire, or the criminal business empire. And I would really want to see this like totally represented in the game. You know what I mean? I would want to see you come from the rags to the riches, and you're leveling up your apartments as you go along, which Grand Theft Auto games have always been great about that, but leveling up your apartments, and then the end of it, you got this kingpin, you know, Miami, just a super decked out pad on the beach, four-story mansion with the pool, the tiger. Just get totally insane with it. However you want to go in there and detail your interior. Have some Sims-esque features in there where you can go and customize the house a little bit. Paint some shit up, paint it to whatever color you want to paint the house, have the pool set up however you want to have it. Like, I know, once again, this is totally in dreamland, but I think that somewhere within these dreams there is some realistic, not expectations, but there's some realistic possibilities of doing some cool shit with some more RPG heavy systems within this criminal empire. And tying right into that last point, with the global drug trade, I just think going global is huge for me in Grand Theft Auto 6. And I don't necessarily need these huge open worlds and you know, go anywhere, do anything. I think that focusing in on a smaller scale and maybe having just districts for you to explore that are much more densely populated and full of much more interactivity, where you can go into these different businesses and have people to actually talk to, and just have a bit more of a purpose to all of the locations. And I think that Red Dead Redemption 2 did that so well, where it felt like any time that you ran into a city or even a house or whatever, there was some sort of environmental storytelling, if not just direct storytelling that would lead you on a totally different path. It just, everything felt so much more purposeful. And I understand when you're trying to recreate a modern city, or even if they throw it back to the 80s or 90s or whatever, like it's much more difficult to create this densely populated recreation of Miami and have all of the buildings represented in realistic form that you expect to see in the 80s or in the 90s in Miami, like a total recreation. It obviously the late 1800s, that's a lot different looking than the 1990s in Miami. So I understand the difficulty there. But like I said, I do think focusing in a little bit on certain districts and giving you a more kind of focused approach to their world building, I'd be really interested to see how they tackled that. And, it'd be so sick to just explore different districts of these different parts of the world. Let me go to London, and I'm doing some negotiations over here in London. Let me go to Chicago, to Vegas, and have these set pieces designed around really cool moments taking place in the story and, in the side stories, the side quests, and just the stories that you create on your own. I could see people being pretty split on that one because I know that a lot of people just like the total freedom to be able to drive anywhere and everywhere on the map. But I do think it would be cool just to try out having smaller maps and then hopping onto a plane and going to like 4 or 5 totally different looking, cities or countries or whatever the case may be, and having just a totally distinct setting for each one with different things to do in each of the locations. I don't know. I think it would just be cool to see it attempted. Once again, I don't really know how to lay this one out properly, but I'm gonna say take notes from Red Dead Redemption 2's story. Make me really get invested in these characters. Make me really get invested in this world that you're creating, and go full in, go all the way in on the cinematics, on the production value. I know this is supposed to be like a $2 billion game, so I imagine they are going absolutely mental with that shit. And I know that, accounts for marketing, which that'll be probably $1 billion in and of itself. But this is going to be a next level expensive video game development cycle, and I just want to see the fruits of that labor bared out in the story, heavily in the story. Because if I'm being totally honest, I don't think I've ever really cared too much about a Grand Theft Auto story. I liked CJ's arc in San Andreas. I appreciated how that was laid out. GTA 4, it was probably the best story overall. Once again, I think a lot of that had to do with just me caring by giving me agency in what was taking place. But make no mistake about it, Red Dead Redemption 2 is on a different level. The storytelling is on a different level. I truly cared about all of those characters, and I want Grand Theft Auto to be silly, to be fun, to be zany, to have that satire, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but I also want to have some betrayals take place, to have some emotional deaths, to really just get in there, get a little bit more gritty at times. I think Arthur Morgan might be in my top 5 favorite characters in video game history, and I don't know if there's a single Grand Theft Auto character that would be anywhere in my top 50 favorite characters in gaming, especially favorite protagonists in gaming history. I don't think any of them would crack my top 50. So yeah, in short, I would just really like to care more about the actual main beats of the narrative in Grand Theft Auto 6. All right, so for the 7th entry on my wish list, I jotted down attitude. And for this one, I just... Listen, I know that we're in very sensitive times in 2023. It feels like that pendulum's sort of changing, even with... what was the damn Jennifer Lawrence movie? I really enjoyed the Jennifer Lawrence movie. Was it No Hard Feelings? The one, it's like this rom-com, really dark humor, dark comedy, stuff that for a while we just weren't seeing in Hollywood. We weren't seeing these major motion pictures, funded by, I think that was funded by Sony. I could be wrong on all that, but it was a big film with a lot of fucking money behind it, and it was dark humor and really damn funny. And it wasn't this super cliche humor that you could see coming from 100 miles away. Like it actually was shocking and surprising. And that's what I want from Grand Theft Auto 6. I want to still be shocked. I want everybody on all sides of the political aisle to be offended. I want that provocateur kind of DNA. I want to know that that's still intact with Rockstar. And I know the shock jock days of old are probably dead and gone, but I don't know. There's something special about Rockstar's ability to kind of rile up everybody, and I hope that I think we need that. We need that in 2023 to have this sort of cultural examination and those, oh yeah, that is kind of absurd. We need some of those moments, and Rockstar, they're incredible at providing those. And I've talked about this so many times in previous videos, and it is just how much I loved the San Andreas kind of auto upgrade system, where whatever you did in the game would directly be reflected in your stats. Like going to the gym with CJ, getting swole, you can actually see CJ getting bigger, and in turn, you're running on the treadmill, your stamina increases, the stats for that, like all of the stats are directly reflecting what you're doing in game. I think that is so damn sick, and you don't see this often in games at all, and I imagine mostly because it's just incredibly difficult to develop for that and around that. But even something like A Plague Tale Requiem had some kind of systems like this, not as involved or as deep as San Andreas, but talking about how we were kind of discussing the BioWare systems and having some dialogue options in play with Grand Theft Auto 6. It would be sick to, the more convincing you are in dialogue, the more you get the different dialogue options correct and have people on your side, and the better you do in conversations, like the more your charisma naturally goes up and you're able to influence people easier in conversation. Or even the immersive sim elements that we were talking about earlier, say the more you go in stealthily and you're not spotted, the more your stealth attributes go up, and you don't have to, like I said, you're not going in and upgrading manually. This is all happening based on what you were doing in the game. And maybe you get to a certain point where you've had so many successful stealth invasions, stealth missions, that now whenever you plan out your mission, whenever you're scoping out the area, you see like glowing windows or glowing entry points for these different buildings, and it kind of lays out exactly how to get into a building without being spotted. Honestly, I just want to see that feature return in a big way. The auto upgrading feature, I just really want to see that return in a big way, because you just don't see anything like it. And once again, I understand that it's probably because it is damn near impossible to get all of those systems to function properly and act accordingly to what you're doing, and to respond in an appropriate manner. When you are going to the gym, you see your character getting swole. When you are engaging in shootouts more, your gun efficiency is improving. When you're doing stealth, your stealth is improving. Like, I understand that that's probably incredibly hard to do without you manually going in and upgrading your character, which I would be cool with that as well. But I guess a lot of my wish list here boils down to making Grand Theft Auto into more of an RPG, which it's always had RPG elements. But I don't know, for me, it's just much easier to get invested into a game whenever I feel like I can kind of shape my character however I want to shape him or her. All right, this one is very, very important for me, for sure. I'm just going to put improved melee combat. This is a key feature that I think has to be really focused in on in a big way, because I think I will say, and actually this kind of counters what I was about to say, is I think Red Dead Redemption 2's melee combat was fantastic. The takedown abilities, and it was just the hand-to-hand combat flowed so much better than any of the other Rockstar games. I never liked the melee combat in any of the other Rockstar games before Red Dead Redemption 2. So I guess this is a simple one. I just hope that they take what Red Dead Redemption 2, the foundation that was laid there with that melee combat system, and I hope they just build upon it. And like we talked about earlier, with having an MMA gym where you can go in and learn different takedowns, you go in and you grab a single leg and maybe because look at something like Sleeping Dogs and the amount of options that are on offer there for your different combat maneuvers. And, your hands are busy. in Sleeping Dogs. There's so many different button combinations that can lead you to a takedown maneuver, and then, snapping a dude's leg or a dude's arm, a leg kick. Like, they had so much on offer, and I know that game was centered around melee combat in a big way, and just the different environmental interactions, throwing a dude into a damn a fish tank with the electrical eels and shit. There's so much environmental kills and environmental takedowns that you can perform in that game. I would just like to see some of that in GTA 6. And if they did have something like an MMA gym where you could go in and learn a single leg, learn a double leg, learn some kind of chokeholds or submissions and shit, like, I don't know. I just think that would add to the realism so much and I think jiu-jitsu is becoming so common in everyday life. Like, just normal people on the street, they know how to take your damn back and submit you. They know how to, pull guard and all this shit. You don't want to get into a goddamn street fight in 2023. Motherfuckers just random ass dudes, random 5'8", 130-pound dudes know how to choke my big ass out. You won't catch me in a street fight ever again in my life. After the rise of jiu-jitsu and all these MMA gyms popping up on every corner, fuck you. I am not about to fight nobody. Have my big goofy ass going viral for fucking tapping out in a fight with a 5'4" dude on my back. But yeah, anyways, improved melee combat. That, I think that should be a huge focus. Let me bob and weave a little bit. Just give me something. Give me something that's a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more flashy with the melee combat. Look at Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs. I know there's probably a lot of Rockstar fans, a lot of Grand Theft Auto fans watching this, but if you haven't played Sleeping Dogs, it might become your new favorite Grand Theft Auto game. All right, so for this next one, this will be my last entry on the list here. We'll cap it off at 10, and that is I want a true single-player campaign in Grand Theft Auto 6. And I don't mean this in... So there's a lot of people that are speculating that this will just be a totally online, like a live service game without single-player functionality. I think that's ludicrous. I don't see a snowball's chance in hell that happens. I know that the Grand Theft Auto 5 online is where, that they make their microtransaction bucks. That's where a lot of the money comes in. But let's make no mistake about it. Previous Grand Theft Auto entries, well before the online days, sold really damn well. Like, GTA has never been a sales slouch before the online. So they have to know that there are millions upon millions upon millions of fans who just pick up the game to play through the single player campaign, as well as there's millions and millions and millions of fans who pick up the game to play just the online. So you may be asking yourself, why even put it on the list if you're so confident about it? Because I'm not necessarily confident in the implementation of it. I think there will be a true single-player campaign. But, like another Take-Two game, NBA 2K, you can go through and play that My Career mode single-player, but you're always online. You are seeing people just running around your world nonstop, which I fucking hate that shit. I hate that shit. I want to go through. I want to play my little games, have my little story set up for me. I don't want to see all these different people running around on my screen. It breaks the immersion a little bit. And then having, immediately off to the side, okay, there's the wreck, there's the park. I can go over there and jump straight into the online functionality. And I see all of that shit in my peripheral vision. Like, it's not separated at all. It's all in the same universe. And that's what I'm saying here by true single player. I want it to be totally separate from the online stuff. Keep it how GTA 5 functions. Have it as a totally separate mode that you can go off and engage with. I don't want to see hundreds of people running around my Grand Theft Auto world while I'm trying to go through and get to the next story beat. And I think when they do get you to the story beats, that would be where they take the people off the map and you just go straight to your story beats. But while I'm on the way to my story missions, I don't want to have the map littered with people running around, and keep it separate. And for the most part, I think that we'll be fine. I think it probably most likely will just be a straight up single player offline campaign. Well, That's another thing I guess you can add in there. I don't want to have to log into any dumbass servers and be constantly online while I'm playing through the single player mode. Let me play that shit offline. You know what? I am going to add one more thing to the list. We'll cap it off here at entry number 11, and that's going to be move on. Just move on. After Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, I know they're going to have a team working on GTA Online for years and years to come, but I know there's a lot of people out there. This is probably my least popular opinion on the video. There's a lot of people out there that want single player content, single player DLC for, which it wasn't given to us for GTA 5. They want to right those wrongs for GTA 6. I don't want to have those wrongs righted. I don't think that's correct phrasing there, but I want the team to move on after Grand Theft Auto 6. Keep an online staff for GTA 6 to work on that. But I'd love to see a smaller Rockstar team created and siloed off, and they could go and work on smaller projects. I don't want it to be another 8 years before we see a new Rockstar game. I don't want to wait 8 years before Red Dead Redemption 3. I don't let's get a Bully 2. Let's get an Agent. Let's get the return to Midnight Club. Maybe not Midnight Club. I don't think that has as much cachet, but a Bully 2 I think would sell like fucking hotcakes. A game, a more espionage styled Rockstar game I think would sell like hotcakes. I don't want Rockstar to continue to be this factory of delivering us exactly what we expect and taking a long ass time to do so. I want some more originality, some more unique shit from Rockstar in the future, and I don't think that's possible if they aren't allowed to move on. I don't need any single player DLC. Give me a nice 50-hour meaty campaign and let's move on. Let's move on to the next thing. Let's have some smaller teams cranking out smaller projects, a 15-hour Bully 2. I'm totally down for that. An LA Noire 2, whatever, a new IP, I don't care. I want to be surprised the next time I see a Rockstar logo pop up before a trailer. If it's Red Dead 3, cool. But after that, the next time I see a Rockstar logo pop up for a reveal trailer, I want to be like, oh shit. Okay, I did not expect that. Because I haven't had that feeling since, really since the 6th generation. So there's no reason to believe that this will change, but once again, my wish list, my hopes, my dreams, that's going to be the final one on the list there. I hope Rockstar just kind of moves on and creates some smaller projects after Grand Theft Auto 6. So there you have it, guys. That is my wish list, my Grand Theft Auto 6 wish list. Like I said, hit me in the comments with your wish list. Let me know what you want to see from Rockstar. Let me know what you want to see from GTA 6. We don't have long to wait. I'm recording this on, what is today, the 20th? Yeah, I'm recording this on the 20th, so we could be 11, 12 days away from a Grand Theft Auto 6 reveal trailer. It's exciting times. Rockstar, they're the titan of the industry. And I've been a mega fan since Grand Theft Auto 3. Played pretty much everything that they've put out since then, and they just don't miss. So I know some people are skeptical with a lot of key talent leaving from Rockstar, but let's hold our horses a little bit. Let's hold our horses a little bit, and I think that we're going to be pleasantly surprised. When the trailer comes out, when we get more information, I will definitely analyze that with the additional information that has been given to us, and maybe I'll become skeptical as well. But right now, I'm going to keep a positive vibe, keep positive energy towards this, because I'm damn excited. It's for a game like this, I was going to say once in a generation, but it's not even once in a damn generation that we get Grand Theft Auto games anymore. So once every other generation, we get something like this. So it's, in my opinion, it's okay to be really damn pumped for this. And I am. I'm very, very excited. So there you have it, guys. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Like the video, share it with a buddy, drop a comment for the algorithm, do all of that shit to help get this out to more eyeballs on the internet, to get more people into the ecosystem. Subscribe, do all that good stuff. But yeah, happy holidays, guys. I hope you were all doing well out there. I hope you're all enjoying the holiday festivities. And yeah, man, I will see you guys in the next video. Hidden Gems 2023 PS5 Series X Hidden Gems should be the next video or one of the next videos that you see from the channel. So definitely stay tuned, and I appreciate y'all for tuning in. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.